Hello there, I'm back today with a new recipe for Angel Premium Instant Dry Yeast. Today I'm going to show you a Pinoy version of the sticky buns. I call this Ube Coco sticky buns. I hope you'll enjoy this recipe. Let's get started. First thing we need to do is we're going to heat the milk. You can use water or milk. If you use water, you don't have to heat the water. For the milk, you heat it to about 90 degrees. And then we have the Angel Premium Instant Dry Yeast. Sprinkle it. And then we stir. Since this is instant dry yeast, you can add the yeast directly to the flour. This is just for home use where, you check the activity of the yeast. See, you can see it's very active. You see bubbles immediately. Then we have eggs. And we have the sugar. And then we stir this. And then we add in all-purpose flour. You can use bread flour if you like. Then we add the salt on top of the flour. We don't want to add the salt directly to the yeast because it weakens the yeast. Alright. So, first, let's mix it at speed number 1 for 1 to 2 minutes to allow the flour to pick up the liquid to form the dough. Once the dough is formed, then we increase the speed to number 4. So you can see it's slowly picking up the flour. By the way, it's very common in bread baking that water is variable. Sometimes you need to add a little bit more water. Sometimes you need a little bit less. It depends on the moisture content of the flour. See, we have formed the dough. It means all the ingredients are put together. So we're going to increase it to medium speed. We're going to mix this for 6 minutes. After 6 minutes, we're going to add the butter. And then we mix it for another 2 minutes. Angel Premium Instant Dry Yeast has stronger gassing power, saving up to 30% of proofing and fermentation time. It is more resistant to cold water, and it is made from selected high activity and high osmotic pressure resistant yeast. It's suitable for both low and high sugar as well as high oil recipes. It has a high fermentation activity and strong fermentation endurance, which can effectively shorten your fermentation and proofing time. It makes bread with good expansion in the oven. It meets the expansion requirements of different fermentation processes such as direct dough or sponge dough method. It makes your baked products uniform in color, large in size, and has a good flavor. After 6 minutes, we're going to add in the butter. And then we continue to mix for another 2 to 3 minutes or until we get the window pane and the dough is elastic. Okay, let's check for the window pane. You put a little oil in your fingers and then pinch off a small portion of the dough and then slowly stretch it. If you are able to stretch it thinly without it breaking, then it means you have achieved the window pane. Alright, this is how you test bread doughs. Okay, see? Then, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to let this ferment. Normally, we ferment this, under Philippine conditions, we ferment this for 1 hour. Since we're using the Angel Premium Instant Dry Yeast, we cut fermentation time by about 30%. So, we can ferment this for about 40 minutes. First, you put oil. Okay. And turn it over. And then we cover this with plastic or a damp cloth, or you can just put a tray on top or just to cover it so that it will not form a skin. So, let's check this after 40 minutes. Alright. To make our latik, we have here muscovado sugar. Then we have coconut milk, thick coconut milk. And then we have a little salt to balance the sweetness. Then I put glucose or corn syrup. The purpose of this is so that it will not crystallize. But you can omit if you don't want the glucose. It's not absolutely necessary. We will heat this until it's syrupy. This is like making biko. We're making that latik. And then we have here, once it boils, we're going to add in buko because I want to make a bocayo topping. It's boiling now, so I'm going to add in the coconut. And then you continue to cook this until the mixture thickens or until the syrup thickens. Use medium to low heat. Remember, always use a big cooking pot because latik has a tendency to overflow when it boils. So make sure your pan is like 3 times or 4 times the volume of the mixture. Turn off the heat and then we're going to add butter. Okay. And then our latik with bukayo is ready. You can choose any baking pan you're going to use. I'm going to use a large muffin pan. Oh, well, they call it jumbo. And then we're going to put the latik here. Here is our dough after only 40 minutes. See how fast fermentation was? Okay, then let's pat this down. And then we will roll this and fill with ube. I call this sticky buns the Filipino version of the very popular Philadelphia sticky buns. Okay, or what they call cinnamon rolls. I chose ube filling because, you know, ube and coconut or latik is very Filipino. This is ready-made ube halaya or ube jam. You can make your own, but today this is store-bought. There are many ube filling available in the market. You can also use coconut or cocoa jam for filling. Don't worry, this one is not very sweet because our dough has very little sugar because I took into consideration the latik. Okay, so next we roll. The filling that I used was only about 2/3 cup. I prepared 1 cup, but I still have extra. Don't make the filling very, very thick because you'll have difficulty rolling it. Okay, just roll it gently. I left a little allowance here because you know, the filling will run. You try to stretch this so that when you come up to the end, it's going to be level. And then it's very important that we rest it for about 10 minutes, because if we cut it right now, what happens is the dough will retract or will will become smaller. Okay, so we let it rest for about 10 minutes. After 10 minutes, I'm going to cut them into 1.5 inch. Okay. Remember, these are jumbo muffin tins, so if you're making using the regular ones, you probably can make about 20 pieces. Okay. Okay. Then we push this down a little bit. We will proof this for about 25 to 30 minutes or until it's double in size, and then we bake it. Alright? By the way, don't forget to grease the pan I grease this with a little shortening. You can also use butter. All right. Look here. With the Angel Premium Instant Dry Yeast, proofing time was only like 20-25 minutes. So very quick. It's ready to go inside the oven. We will bake this at 350 degrees for about 20 minutes or until it's done. All right. Here are our baked ube and cocoa sticky buns. We're going to unmold this by inverting it or upside down. Okay.